Here we are. Another week. Another episode. Here we are. Do what I always do and share this on my personal page because I got more followers there. Gosh, I need to back up. That's so weird. Alright. We. It's just me today. Can I tag people? Oh, it's like I can. I'm gonna still tag my team even though they're not here. Hey, Adrian. That was a fast 3 minutes. I thought I was have a 12:57. Did it? Okay, here we go. Cool. It's just about 1 o'clock. So that's shared. Great. Okay, it's 12:59. What's a minute? I'm gonna go ahead and get started. So as you can see, I am riding solo again this week. Michael had our previous engagement, previous commitment, and Tanaja has to quarantine, unfortunately. So please pray for her to get well soon. There was a breakout of Miss Rona in one of her classes, so she has to quarantine, unfortunately. So, you know, I talked to her this morning, and I'll be keeping in touch, of course, because that's my girl. But yeah, just keep her in prayer. Yeah, we'll just go ahead and get started. Honestly, I didn't plan on having a topic today, because I thought it was gonna be me and Tanaja. So, you know, we were just gonna, you know, chop it up, talk about our week, stuff like that. I can still do that, but it's just me, so I don't know. And I mean, sometimes I think my life isn't that interesting, but I mean, some people might think it is. But yeah, this week has been a week. It's gone by very fast. That's why I didn't, well, 2 reasons why I didn't post anything earlier in the week. One reason is the week got away from me. Like, it was like Monday, Tuesday, after that, next thing I know, it was Friday. Next thing I know, it was Friday, and I was just like, oh my gosh. For a while, I didn't even remember Wednesday even happening. Like, and it's wow, very wild. Sorry, I forgot to put this on D&D as well. My devices. There we are. Okay, now we're really good. Okay, so yeah, just a few things. Just like, share, and tag, please, if you don't mind. I'm adding pinning a comment. Oh, never mind. I don't even know how to pin it. My dad does it, and I don't know how he does it. But anyway, here we are. It is February, Black History Month. I have on my my Black History shirt. We out, Harriet Tubman, in honor of Black History Month. And I did just cut my hair, but it's cold and I'm bald, so that's why we got the wig on. So yeah, it's like the temperature just plummeted, and I'm like, oh my god, oh, thank you. This is my favorite wig right now. Like, I love the voluminous look. Like, it's, yeah, I love it. So yeah, my week was okay. My week was pretty good. My church started a 15-day consecration So we are on day 4 of 15. I don't know why I put up 9. 4 of 15. And yeah, it's been going. Oh, got it. Oh, thank you. I love it. The bigger the hair, the closer the guy. That's what we Southern girls say. Well, I'm technically Southern. I consider myself Southern, so that's what we Southern girls say. The bigger the hair, the closer the guy. But yeah, my church is doing a 15-day consecration. It's not harsh, so like it's there's still a challenge, but like it's not impossible to follow. That, yeah, it's not impossible to follow or to keep up with. So it's been going, but I think I am gonna get into what we were gonna talk about last week, which is accountability. Especially at a time like this, I feel like accountability is important, especially, this time of year. Well, at this time of year that I'm in right now, with my church being on a consecration, doing it by yourself, it makes it even more difficult. And even not just consecrating, but just living life. I feel like not having someone to not being accountable to somebody makes life difficult. Yeah. We all deal with life. We all have challenges in life, and nobody's perfect. I do feel like deep down we all want to be a good person, be on the right path. I know I do. I want to be on the right path. I want to live a life that's pleasing to God, and I want to live a positive life. I've always wanted to be like the example of what God can do, how God can change somebody. And I'm gonna just tell on myself kind of partially. Not gonna go into detail, but as pretty much as soon as we started the consecration, we're only 4 days in. So on day 2, yeah, I believe it was day 2, I messed up. And I was just feeling so bad. Like, I was beating myself up so bad about it. And so I was just like, I was feeling really bad. And so I decided to be accountable to my brother. So, I text him and I let him know, like, so bro, this happened. I told him what happened, told him how it happened, everything. And, he didn't condemn me, anything like that. He actually, he encouraged me, he spoke into me, he told me to give myself some grace because I can be hard on myself. He told me to give myself some grace, and he encouraged me and spoke into me, and it made me feel better about the situation. Because the whole day I was just walking around like, oh my God, I messed up. Like, and I can be dramatic at times, so I was just like, I'm a fraud. Like, I feel like I'm never gonna change. Like, this keeps happening. Da 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 da. I was frustrated. There was a lot of frustration there, and I was just feeling really bad. I was like really, really kicking myself, and I just decided to contact my brother, who I decided to be accountable to. He knows me inside and out. He's seen me at my best. He's seen me at my worst. I have literally cried on his shoulder. So, I feel safe with him there. So, oh gosh, the current events on here are the ones we did last week. But that's all good. I found out. Oh, thank you so much. I'm so glad. Like, I'm Tanasia is still here. Like, I'm glad Tanasia's still here. She's watching from home and still participating, and I love that. Michael's probably busy. He's helping to set up for our niece's party, so his hands are probably literally full right now. But yeah, I'm glad you're tuned in. No. Yeah. no condemning yourself. And that scripture actually it came back to me. I should find that really quick. No condemnation. Um, but it was coming back to me, and I kept repeating it to myself, like I because I've always been really hard on myself. I've gotten better with it, but it still happens, especially when, like, I was just talking about how God transformed me and I'm a new creature and I'm doing so much better and all this stuff, and then boom, I fall. And it's just like, oh God. Like, but excuse me, sorry y'all. But yeah, I'm feeling better now. Thank goodness. And I'm moving on, like it was a mistake. It happened. I can't go back and change it. I can't take it back, unfortunately. But I did repent. Definitely made sure I repented. Okay, here we are. Romans 8:1. So now there is no condemnation for those who belong to Christ Jesus. Exactly. So, yeah, I definitely repented to God. And accountability has been a thing that's kind of actually been on my mind for a while. And I'm on a journey to becoming my authentic self, like who I truly am. Not who I thought I was, like the past 2 years when I was just doing whatever I wanted to do with no regard. That's not me. That's not who I am. I thought that was me being authentic or being myself, but I was just trying to please my flesh, and that got me nowhere. It only got me like hurt and frustrated and confused even further, and so I was like, yeah, I'm done with that. So, well, one current event that happened with me, I pulled a muscle in my neck. And so, like the other day, gosh, it's like one of those things where you're reminded of your age. Like, oh yeah, I'm 30. I'm gonna be 31 in a month. Like a month from today, March 4th is my birthday. I will be 31. Yay. I'm excited even though I have no plans, but I have time. But yeah, it was one of those things where like I really felt my age. My poor neck was sore all week. It's good now. It's better now, but oh my God. It was tough. Like I was in a lot of pain. It was hard to sleep. It was hard to move. I didn't realize how much I moved my neck when I talk, because every time. Oh, well, since I've been talking about the whole Krishan and Blueface situation, there were rumors going around that they got married. Apparently that was just for a music video. And actually I saw a clip of them like during a break in the music video. Blueface is talking to his friend, and his friend asked him like, would you ever really do this, like in real life, like get married? He said no, in so many words. And I was just like, ooh, well, there's that. But yeah, I think I've rambled on long enough. So there's someone watching me. Really weird. Anyway, I'm gonna keep going, even though now I feel like super awkward. But anyway, we're talking about accountability today. I'm just gonna go through the questions and answer them. And, of course, you all are more than welcome to participate, to add your responses, your comments, any questions you may have. You're more than welcome. And of course, I want that. This is an interaction. It's not just y'all listening to me talk. So, accountability. The first question is to define it in your own words. So, I would describe accountability. Me personally, I would describe accountability as being held responsible by someone else. I mean, you can hold yourself accountable. Like it's synonymous with being held responsible. You can hold yourself accountable, or someone else can hold you accountable, I feel like it's better to have someone else hold you accountable, because they know who you are, where you are, and also where you're going. So, having someone to remind you of your potential and remind you of what you're capable of, um, that's important. That's really, really important. Oh my God. Sorry, someone is like standing at the door with their back on the door. Like I'm not in here. I need my own space. Anyway, um, yeah, that's what accountability is to me. It's synonymous with being held responsible for for what you do and for your actions. And y'all know I love a good definition. So the definition that I found for accountability in Webster's dictionary is the obligation or willingness to accept responsibility for one's actions. So pretty much the same thing, taking responsibility. So yeah, let's get into the questions. The next question is, share a time someone has held you accountable. How did you feel at the moment, and how did you feel after the fact? So it's funny, we're on consecration now. The story that I thought of was one time when we were on consecration a few years ago, and I was new to it. I was still fairly new to Conquering Power, and I wasn't used to consecrating their way. So like the way they do it, like they have, the guidelines, stuff like that, the things you can and cannot eat, the times, the times when you can and can't eat, things to stay away from as far as like social media and TV, things like that. And also, what else was it? Oh, and prayer times. We would pray like twice a day, and we're doing that now as well. So I was still new to it. So, it was during consecration. Mike and I went out to eat after church, and we went to Cracker Barrel. And so we went to Cracker Barrel. I ordered what I normally get, but we were consecrating, so there were like certain things that I couldn't have or whatever, wasn't supposed to be eaten. So, Mike was reminding me of it, and how did I feel at the moment? I was upset. But he was simply holding me accountable. And honestly, at the time, I was upset. And I wasn't as mature as I am now, so like I was upset for a while. Like the rest of the day. Like I was upset because I wanted what I wanted, and like in the past I haven't always been good at consecrating. It's always been a challenge for me. I've gotten better the more that I do it. But yeah, I wasn't as mature as I am now. I wasn't as dedicated, to be completely honest. I wasn't as dedicated, and I wasn't as committed to consecration as I am now. So I was upset. I was really upset. But how I feel now after the fact, I'm appreciative. Yeah, I'm appreciative. I'm glad that he held me accountable, because now, years later, with this consecration, now it's easier for me to stick to. It is still a challenge, because I like what I like, and on a regular day I don't stick to a diet. So having to follow the guidelines, having to be like, okay, like we can eat between 12 and 6. So I'm like, okay. So like yesterday, I was in the middle of eating, and I was at work, and I saw like 6 o'clock was coming. I'm like, okay, let me finish this. Let me try to finish this before 6 o'clock. 6 o'clock rolled around. I wasn't finished my food, so I just had to wrap it up, because that's just what it is. Like, now, had this been a few years ago, I would have been like, listen, guys, I'm gonna have to understand, I'm gonna finish my food. But I wrapped it up. I wrapped my food up, put it away, and that was that. And I had water. To be completely honest, I didn't pray right away, like right at 6 o'clock, because I was still kicking myself about me messing up or whatever. But I was just like, no, I need to Like, prayer is essential for me. Like, for me personally, prayer has become very essential. I need to do it. Like, if I, like, it now is to the point where, like, if I don't pray, I'm like, something's not right. Like, something's off. Like, my day is kind of off. So, like, I have to talk to my Heavenly Father at some point in my day. But since we're on consecration, like, it's even better because, you know, we're praying at 12 and at 6, which is great. So yeah, that's one time someone has held me accountable. I mean, people have held me accountable before, but that was just the first story that came to mind. Yeah. Now, some people will call themselves holding you accountable, but really they're just, like, some people just want to feel like they're controlling somebody else. Like, they have that little complex about them. Don't know what that's about. But, like, oh, how do you handle... Oh, that's a good question. How do you handle it when they do hold you accountable? When, the way I handle it now that I'm, like, more mature, I'll share how I handle it, and then I'll, like, give a suggestion. When someone holds me accountable, I kind of, like, I take it, like, I listen. It's kind of like a chew up the meat and spit out the bones kind of thing. Like, I take it in, I listen, I'm like, okay, and then I do a self-evaluation. So I'm like, because some people holding me accountable, this is why I'm only accountable to certain people, like, people who are kind of, like, I guess, credible, people I trust. Yeah, people I trust who have my best interests at heart and things like that. Because if it comes from them, I'm like, okay, I don't have to question that. But if it's someone else, then I kind of question it. Like, somebody I don't know as well or something like that. But I do a self-evaluation. And then I'm like, because, you know, correction sometimes stings, you know, so you have to take a minute to, like, process it and kind of take it in. But I feel like you should definitely if it applies, then, you know, you have to be honest with yourself. I feel like that's a big thing. You have to be honest with yourself. Like in my situation, like, we were at Cracker Barrel. I love their cornbread muffins, but I couldn't have them. So, like, they offered to bring them to the table, and before I could say anything, Mike said no. And I'm like, ugh. But I knew I couldn't have them. So I feel like it's best to be honest with yourself. And if it applies, like, if it's coming from someone who you trust, who actually knows you, then, you know, I do a self-evaluation, and then just kind of, like, make adjustments moving forward. Like, if the same situation happens again, just kind of try to remember, like, oh, see, last time I did this, now this time I'm gonna do it differently, handle it differently. So yeah, I think when it comes to handling being held accountable, I feel like it kind of depends on who it comes from, and it also comes down to just being honest with yourself. Like, if you messed up, you messed up. Like, another thing I started doing was just simply stating the facts. So, like, for example, like, we're on consecration right now. If I go and get a gyro, knowing we're not supposed to have any kind of bread products, then, you know, and someone catches me, and they're like, okay, you know, there's halal trucks all over. I'm in Philly. I'm in Center City right now, so you know it's halal trucks on every corner. So say I go out, get a gyro, not just a gyro, but a lamb gyro, and I'm eating it. One of y'all see me and you're like, you're not supposed to be eating that. Mind you, I just spent $8.50 on this gyro. So of course I'm gonna feel some kind of way. Like, I just spent my good money on this. Like, you know. So, of course I'm going to feel some kind of way, but the fact of the matter is, I was caught eating bread and we're not supposed to be eating bread. That's, so once somebody else holds you accountable, you got to hold yourself accountable too. The honesty part, that's where the honesty part comes in. Like, if you fall, you fall. Like when I messed up earlier this week, I was just like, I was beating myself up about it, but then I was like, I gotta stop doing this. Like, I can't beat myself up about it. What happened, happened. I'm like, yeah, this is what I did. This is why I chose to do it. Like, you just gotta be honest. You have to be honest with yourself. And, once you come to grips with the fact of the matter, what happened, like, I wanted to say it's okay. Like, it's not okay, but, like, again, you can't go back and change what you've already done. So in the future, you just gotta make sure you do better. And, with people who are holding you accountable, don't shoot the messenger. Please, don't shoot the messenger. Because at the end of the day, like, people who are truly holding you accountable, they want to see you do better. They want to see you thrive. They want you to be the best you that you can be. So that's why they're holding you accountable. That's the only reason they're bringing it up. If they didn't care about you and didn't love you, they would just let it fly. They wouldn't say anything. They would let you keep messing up. And, like, it's like if you fell in mud, like, they would just let you stay in the mud. I don't want anyone who is going to let me fall and stay in the mud. Like, no, pick me up. Pick me up and help clean me up. Like, yeah. Sorry, I'm reading Tanaja's comment now. When I was younger, I had the mindset of doing whatever I wanted without really thinking about how my actions affected the people close to me. But my mom and my sisters were the ones who always made sure they held me accountable for the things I had done. I could be stubborn at times, but they helped me realize that it's important to hold yourself accountable and grow. Absolutely. Same. Big same. I was, like, sometimes we just, like, and for people like me and Tanasia who are always doing for other people, trying to make other people happy, trying to make other people comfortable, trying to make sure everybody else is good, after a while, it's like, okay, what about me? So a lot of people like us go through that season of doing what we want, doing what makes us happy, doing what, doing what pleases us with no regard to anybody else. Because the unfortunate thing with people who are givers and people who have big hearts, the unfortunate part is there are also takers. There are people who just take. They take advantage of those who are giving. Is there something on my screen? Oh, no, it's not. Sorry. Got distracted. But there are people who will take advantage of folks with big hearts. People who give so much. People who just are so accepting, so empathetic, things like that. And it has the potential to turn people like us off, to turn us away from wanting to be so giving so much, because of the abuse of our big hearts and our charity and generosity. So, we do go through that season where we just do us. We do what makes us happy. We do what we think is making us happy. I know for me personally, like, I thought the things I was doing was making me happy, but it was only like, it was temporary. It made me happy temporarily. But, like when I was drinking, yeah, sure, okay, I get some liquor in my system, I have a good time, but once I'm done, I still gotta go back home. I wake up the next morning hungover, and I gotta deal with that. And what makes it even worse is if I had to go to work too, yeah, had to deal with all of that. And when all of that wears off, once the good time is over, once the hangover goes away, I still have to deal with life. My problems have not gone anywhere. So it's very temporary. It's a temporary fix. So yeah, it's good to have people, and not a whole lot of people. Like, I've been listening to this podcast called The Basement with Tim Ross. Um, Amazing. Like, literally the best podcast I found so far. Like, hands down. But that podcast is powerful, and he was talking about how he has his three people, three core people that they were talking about submission, but accountability of course goes with submission as well. But he has his three people that he is submitted to, um before he makes any decisions or major decisions or things like that. He talks to those three people, not to get approval, but to just run it by them, because he's submitted to them, he's accountable to them. And I think that's very important. It doesn't have to be a you know whole crowd of people, but there needs to be that core, that the core people. And right now I feel like, me personally, I'm kind of getting that together, the people who I'm going to be accountable to, because, excuse me, those people will help me stay on the straight and narrow, so that I'm not falling, so that I don't have to worry about beating myself up or being upset with myself, because it won't happen in the first place. I mean, of course, well, I have two. I have at least two. Actually, I think I have three, but it might end up being four. I have my husband, of course. But I wasn't always, to be completely honest, wasn't always accountable to him, because there were some things about me that I was kind of like ashamed of and kind of afraid to bring to him. But I've changed over time. I feel more comfortable opening up to him. So he's one. Another is my spiritual father, Bishop Hayward R. Hamilton. Shout out to him. I'm gonna start being more accountable to him as well. I tried that before our dynamic shit. Got you. And that can happen. That definitely happened. That's happened to me too. Like, some of my best friends who I thought would be my best friends for life, now I have no idea what's going on with them. It's been a while since I've seen them. Been a while since I talked to them. And I mean, I still love them, still wish them the best, but sometimes you grow apart from people. And it's unfortunate, and sometimes it even hurts, but that is life. And the great thing about God is that he won't leave you out there. He won't leave you lonely. He'll send people and that's what I love about him. He'll send people to kind of not so much take their spot, but to be that same person for you, to be that comfort, that friend, that confidant. And that's what I love about God. And I feel like that's the season that I'm in right now. It hasn't been I'm not gonna say I still haven't found like my spiritual bestie, but God hasn't been like that to them yet. So, but still open, still just waiting for that. But yeah, I'm accountable to my husband. I'm accountable to, I'm gonna start being more accountable to my dad, Bishop Hayward Hamilton, and there's my brother. I kind of, those three, my husband and my dad, like they're responsible for me, naturally and spiritually. And my brother, he's just someone who loves me and wants the best for me. So, I'm just accountable to him. Like I feel comfortable telling him like I did this, or I'm feeling this way. You know what I mean? Like I'm having these thoughts. I'm considering this. Things like that. Yeah. So it has to be people that you trust, people who aren't gonna judge you and aren't gonna condemn you or make you feel bad about what you did. Because if you're anything like me, you already feel bad enough. Like when it comes to me being accountable to people, by the time I get to them, I have already mollywopped myself enough. So I don't need to feel any worse. Like I've already made myself feel terrible. Guaranteed. So it's like I don't need to feel any worse. Um so yeah, it's just accountability is really something. Um and again, it doesn't have to be a lot of people. And I say four because, I'm close to Tanasia. I'm sure she won't mind me, mentioning her. But, like our friendship is evolving and growing. And now that we're like working together on the podcast, it's growing even more. So, I feel comfortable with her. And I'm sure, I've told her stuff before. So, like I confide in her. So, of course, I'm going to be telling her what's going on with me. And, these people also, they know the path that I'm on. They know that I want to do better. They know I want to be better. They want to see me do better and be better. So, of course, they're going to hold me accountable. And it doesn't always feel good, but it is necessary. And it's not always what you want to hear, but it's what you need to hear. So, yeah. Have you ever question number 3 is, have you ever had to hold someone else accountable for something? And then the sub questions are, how did they react and how did that make you feel? I mean, I have like managerial experience or leadership experience. So there have been times when I've had to hold people accountable. I'll never forget this one time. I was a manager at Chipotle. Something they just got right. I'm cracking up. No, it's funny because the other day, I think, what was it, yesterday? I don't know. The other day, I told her that I love her for the first time. And she was like, oh, you're trying to make me emotional. So she just said it again. So I'm just cracking up. Like, I'm not trying to make you emotional, but I'm just being honest. Like, and it's not to get off topic, but like, I struggle when it comes to bonding with women. So like, when I find that genuine connection with another woman, I'm like, okay, cool. Like when I feel like I can finally exhale, like around another woman, like, okay, I can trust her, I can confide in her, like, yeah, I'm like all in with that. So, it's just it's a great feeling, because I've been burned a lot by other women who call themselves my friend or call me their sis, and it's like, whatever you call me, you gotta act like it. You gotta treat me like that. Like, I know how a sister acts. I know how a sister's supposed to be. If you're not treating me like I'm your sister, don't call me that. If you're not treating me like a friend, don't call me that. Just plain and simple. I was to myself, same. Same. And I feel like, sorry, Adrian said, I was there, took myself deep with God to resolve that. And yeah, that's what it took for me too. That's what it takes. That's what it's taking for me. Because like, it's like when you've been burned so many times by anyone who claims to be family or claims to be a friend or anything like that, but especially women, like, it's hard enough for us as it is, as women, period. And then as women of color, it's hard enough for us as it is. Like, we should be sticking together, but like the cattiness and the backbiting and the drama and all that, like, I cannot deal with it. I can't. Very much over it. And I was just I was tired of it. I was tired of people trying to connect with me for all the wrong reasons. There were people trying to connect with me to get to my leader, trying to connect with me. Actually, they were trying to come between me and my leader. Didn't work. It was people, just only talking to me because I was married to Mike. It was people calling me sis, but talking about me. Like, talking about me and Michael. And see, you can talk about me, but don't talk about my man. Because I will drag you. I mean, literally, drag you over Michael. And I'm not going to get into it, but listen, I'm very laid back. But for Mike, I'm leaning up immediately. I've done it before. I'll do it again. Like, I will drag you over Mike. But anyway, it's a struggle for me to trust women, and it's so unfortunate because I want that. Like, I want to go on girls trips and be a part of a friend group where we're all like hanging out and doing stuff, like, like, I want that, but it's like, who am I going with? Like, like, I want to take a day trip to New York, but who am I gonna take with me? Like, I'm not anymore. I'm not part of the Land Hands ministry anymore. Like, listen, I almost fought in church once, like on the church steps. Like, they had to literally hold me back. But that's a story. That might be a story for today. I don't know. We might get into it. But listen, I'm an on-site type person. So, like, I don't talk much. Like, again, this podcast is probably the most some people will hear me talk. Like, outside of this, I'm so quiet. I don't say much. So, and I'm very observant. So, like, chances are, if I'm about to jump, I've seen something, I've heard something, and I've been watching and listening the whole time. So now I'm just like, all right, it's time for action. Like, But I've calmed down some. So, I'm trying to temper that. And, my dad, he keeps telling me I need to temper that. So I'm working on it. I'm trying. I'm actually working on it. I used to say, like, I wasn't working on it, but now I am. So, see, accountability. I need to be held accountable. I need to be held accountable. All right, hold up. The comparison. Yeah, that's another thing with being friends with women. Like, the comparison is so unnecessary. Like, why? Why are we competing when we could just be complimenting? Like, it's not about competition. It's about complimenting. Like, do we compliment each other? Like, we can help each other. Like, if we just come together, we can help each other. We don't need to compete. I'm not, like, if I'm worried about what you're doing, it's because I want to see you succeed at it. I want to see you thrive. You know what I mean? Like, excuse me. Like, imagine, like, Tanasia's in school right now, and I'm in the process of, like, going back. So can you imagine if instead of when she tells me about her classes, like, instead of encouraging her or something, I'm hating on her? Like, for what? If all goes well, we're literally going to be going to the same school, same campus, just different courses. So, like, I feel like if we didn't compliment each other, like, I feel like we do compliment each other. So, like, she's telling me about her classes, she's telling me about campus, things like that. I can find things out about the school before I even go. Like, again, I'm still in the process of getting back in there. So she could help me. Like, she's already going to the school. Could you imagine if I had that mindset of competition? I would just be like, instead of listen, I can't wait to cut up on campus. I cannot wait. Y'all pray that this goes well. Pray that this process goes well. I think it will, but keeping high hopes and good vibes. Yes. Glean from her or encourage her, but don't hate. Exactly. And that's what I'm trying to do. That's what I'm doing right now, and that's what I feel. That's what I want to do in the connections that I have now, or the connections that I'm going to have with other women. Yeah. So like I feel like the competition is very much unnecessary. Like, imagine if I had that competitive mindset. Like, oh, she's going to that school, I need to find a better one. For what? For what? The school that we're both going to be going to, so I'm just going to speak it. The school that we're both going to be going to has the exact program that I need. They have what I need right there. I don't need to look anywhere else. So like, if I had that competitive mindset, I'd probably still be out here looking for a school, and I'd probably end up going to a school in a whole other state. And for what? When the program I'm looking for is right there on the same campus. So yeah, like my history with being friends with other women has not gone well, but it's gonna go better. It's gonna get better. Like, my mindset is different. I'm aware of the red flags and things like that. So yeah, I'm hopeful for the future. I missed a few comments. Hold on. Oh, I'm cracking up. Sorry. Adrian said she popped fake nails off. Oof. Yeah. See, we can, and that's wild. That is so wild, because Adrian is one of the sweetest people I've ever met. I mean, I can see it though. I can see it. I can see it, but that's wild. Like, see, people are crazy, and they will take you there. Because people have taken me there. I think I'm nice. I think I'm still nice. I'm not as nice as I used to be, but I'm nice, but I don't take no crap. That's what it is. So people think I'm mean, but I just like cut stuff off, nip it in the bud, and I'm like, all right, you can go. Like, I'm not continuing this. But so people think I'm mean because of that. But yeah. Where were we at? Oh yeah, holding someone else accountable. Yeah, I have. There was one time when I was a manager at Chipotle. And there was this one girl who was always showing up late every day to all her shifts. And for a while, nothing was being done. Well, I thought that nothing was being done, but the GM was just taking time to watch her. She was watching her, waiting to see if she was gonna start showing up on time. So, it's my shift, and before the GM leaves, she tells me, if this person is late again, tell her she's getting written up. I said, okay. Now, it's not that I don't like confrontation, but like that kind of stuff kind of makes me nervous, because I knew it wouldn't be received well. So, just my luck, the girl shows up late, and I'm like, doggone it. Dang it. Like I wanted her to be on time so bad, because I'm like, I do not want to have to tell her this. But she shows up late. And so, I very sheepishly told her, like, so, they told me that, I gotta write you up. Like, I didn't want to do it. Like, I really did not want to do it. And then I was like, so, so-and-so told me that if you were late again, I had to write you up. So, unfortunately, I gotta write you up. It wasn't taken well. I mean, she didn't, like, snap on me or nothing like that, but she was upset. Like, she had an attitude with me. And I was just like, I felt really bad, like, because I didn't want to do it. But, listen, as a manager, sometimes as a leader, period, sometimes you gotta do stuff you don't want to do, have those uncomfortable conversations. But on the upside, from then on, she started showing up on time. So, it worked out. It just sucks that it had to get that far. Like, it had to go that far for her to, start showing up on time. But you know, that's one. Yeah, how they reacted was just, yeah, attitude, very attitude central. But you know, and how did it make me feel? It made me feel terrible. I don't, and it's wild because I've been in leadership like for a while now, and you know, like as long as I've been in leadership, for me, it never gets any easier. Having to like crack down, especially when it's people that you like, people who, when they are there, do good, but they just have that one issue. Like her, she was great. She was great at what she did. She just was never on time. It's like if you show up on like the way that we change shifts, like if somebody is late, it throws things off. It throws the rest of the day off. So, you know, we just had to explain that to her and everything, but yeah, it's not having to hold someone else accountable. That's, we can have that conversation now. We can shift to that. That's not always comfortable. It's not always fun having to hold somebody else accountable, especially when you know when you're coming from a place of love or you're coming from a genuine place, and then they're like, whatever, da 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 da. Like, don't, like I said earlier, don't shoot the messenger. Like, and I feel like that's all the more reason why, if you're gonna be accountable to somebody, if someone else is gonna hold you accountable or someone else wants you to hold them accountable, it's best to have that rapport, to have that relationship established already, so that when you do go to them, so you know, when you do go to them, it's not, you know, y'all aren't clashing. Did she get better? What was her resolve? She actually ended up eventually getting a car, because I think before she was taking like public transportation. But even still, like, I take public transportation for now, not for much longer, but for now. But I leave out early, like I leave out earlier, so like it's not really an excuse. But she ended up getting a car and showing up on time. Like, I guess she started leaving earlier, and she started showing up on time. So very, very glad about that. And yeah, that's actually really good. Like, thinking about that, like it once you're held accountable or someone else holds you accountable, there should be some kind of resolve. There should be some kind of change. Like, it doesn't just stop there. Like, it's being held accountable is kind of like having a diagnosis. Like, okay, you know, this is the problem, so now what are we going to do about it? So you have to go somewhere from there, if that makes sense. So like the example that I gave earlier, like if somebody caught me eating a gyro and we're not supposed to be eating bread right now because we're on consecration, okay, so what are we going to do about that? Because obviously I can't continue eating this because we're not supposed to be having bread. So there's several things I could do. I could give it to someone who is unhoused, who, you know, was a homeless person, or I could throw it away. I'm probably not going to do that, because if I spend my money on something, I'm not going to throw it away. Or I could always just take the toppings out of the bread, out of the pita, and eat it like that. So there, you know, there needs to be a solution or a resolution. Absolutely. That is so good. Yes. It requires more conversation to uncover things. Yes. Because if it's like a behavioral issue, like, you want to get to the root of that. Like, why do I act this way? Why? Like, it's not just the fact that you keep doing something. It's not just the behavior. The behavior is coming from a root. It, like, whatever's coming out of us, it's a byproduct of what's going on inside of us. So like the way that we act, it's a result of what's going on inside of us. So yeah, like there does absolutely need to be more conversations had so that we can get to the root of that and really do something about it, so that, like, I feel like I like the quote that says, heal the root. Wait, it's like, I think it says like heal the root so the tree can grow or something. It's something like that. But when you heal the root of the issue, that when you do that internal work and heal the root, then like you won't even have to force change to happen. It'll happen naturally. Like once the inside is healed, like with me, my skin cleared up. I started losing a little bit of weight. Like my hips are a little toned now. You know, they're not as wide. You know, like it's showing up. And even in my behavior, you know, my brother told me the other day that he noticed a change in me. And I didn't have to announce it. I didn't have to walk around with a shirt or hat on that says, hey, I'm different. I didn't have to walk around telling people. I didn't even tell him. He told me on his own that he noticed that I was different. I was speaking up for myself more. I was being more direct with how I feel, being more clear about my feelings, everything like that. So, you know, it's good to have those ongoing conversations, not just one. It's not just a, hey, I noticed this, that, and the third. Excuse me. It's more than that. Like, it's like, okay, so we know this is the problem. What are we going to do about it? And are you going to do something about it? Are you willing to do something about it? Hopefully you are. But it's all the more reason why, like, having an accountability buddy, this is what I like to call it, having that, it's good to have a rapport with them, have that relationship with them so that you can be honest with them and they can be honest with you and you won't get offended. You won't walk away offended. Sorry, I had to adjust my phone a little bit. Okay. But yeah, like it's definitely an ongoing thing. Like being held accountable, that's just step one. Because now it's like, okay, I have this like me when I went to my brother, like I went to him on my own and was like, this happened. And, you know, we talked about it. He was like, you know, how did that happen? Why did that happen? And I laid it out for him. So now I'm like, I don't want that to happen again. Like the guilt and the shame that I felt and me beating myself up, it does not feel good. Like, it really doesn't. Like, I don't like walking around like that. It makes me so uncomfortable and so insecure and so sad. Like, honestly, so sad. And so, I don't like feeling that way. So now I'm like, okay, what am I going to do in the future to make sure that doesn't happen again? So, I decided at the first sign, I'm gonna reach out and like, hey, or like, you know, if it's a habit that you keep doing, like a habit that's hard to break, at the first sign, the first urge, the first thought, the first consideration, like anything, just reach out. Like, hey, I just had this thought. You know, like, and whoever you're accountable to, they can help you with that. They can help you work through that. They can distract you. They can like, okay, like just for example, like say you struggle with promiscuity. We're just throwing it out there. So at the first thought, you're like, oh shoot, oh boy, I'm having this thought. So you call or text whoever you're accountable to, and you're like, I'm having these thoughts. And we know thoughts lead to urges and considerations, and that leads to action. You don't want to get there. Like, if you don't want to repeat that same thing, you have to nip it in the bud. So whoever you're accountable to can be like, okay, instead of going there, come over here. Like, let's have ice cream and watch a movie. Like, or, you know, like, just, they're there to help you out, to help you through. So, you know, there needs to be a plan of action, steps you can take to avoid falling into that same trap, to avoid, to help break that pattern. because I don't know about you, but like when you keep going circling the same mountain, as I like to say, it after a while it gets tiring. You get tired of literally seeing the same thing. Like, I've seen this before. I've literally been here before. I'm tired of seeing this. I'm tired of doing this. I'm tired. Like, you get tired. And I reached a point where I got tired. And I'm just like, it's time for a change. So, nobody is perfect. So in this journey, and healing is not linear. Healing, that's something my therapist told me in the beginning. This journey is not linear. There's gonna be times when you might fall. There's gonna be times when you fall. I don't walk around with the expectation. You know what I mean? Like, I don't wake up today and like, I'm gonna fall today. But if it happens, it's like knowing that it's a possibility. It kind of helps with like not beating myself up so much. But yeah, it's not, the journey's not linear. No journey is, especially when you're healing, trying to get better. No journey is linear. So, you can't beat yourself up too much. If you get off track, you just go to the people that you're accountable to. Just go to them, tell them, hey, this, that, and the third happened. Like, and tell them how you feel as well. Like, that's a big thing for me. Like I was telling my brother, I was like I was feeling really bad. Like, I'm a fraud. Like, I feel like I'm never gonna change. Like, just everything. And it's not so much self-loathing, but that was just literally how I was feeling. It was how I was feeling, because I was so frustrated with myself. I was literally just telling you all, telling my brother, I was telling people, like, God's doing a new thing. I feel brand new. Like, I've changed. I've been transformed. And I didn't just like went back to an old thing. And it's just, I was frustrated because I'm just like, bruh, like, it was just like, I just got on the right track. And like, it just so happened to start like right at the beginning of consecration too, so that didn't help either. But I'm feeling better now. I'm not beating myself up about it. I'm very glad that I had someone to go to be accountable to, who instead of condemning me, spoke into me and spoke life into me and encouraged me. He didn't let me stay in that low place, because I feel like if I hadn't gone to him, I would still be upset right now. Like, I that's just how I used to be. I used to beat myself up for days. Like, I used to just stay in that low place and just beat myself up and just, tell myself negative things. But now I'm, because I was accountable, and because I have been, I'm still transformed. I'm still that transformed person. I'm still that new person. I just messed up. It happens. It happens to the best of us. So we're moving on. As what is his name? James Hall and them said, we are pressing on. We are pressing on. So, the last question is, how important is accountability to you? Well, to me. Y'all can answer too, of course. Like, by all means, y'all can answer too. But for me, accountability is everything. Especially with me right now, like with me just being on this new path, wanting to do better, wanting to be better, striving for, being who God called me to be and created me to be. Of course there's going to be opposition. Of course there's going to be, this reminders of my vices and things like that just coming after me. Accountability is everything to me. So like, when I was listening to the podcast The Basement with Tim Ross, they were talking about how they were accountable to people. Both Tim Ross was talking to Michael Todd. The two of them are close Tim Ross actually mentors Michael Todd. Didn't know that, but didn't know that till then. But they were talking about how when they travel, they don't travel alone. Michael Todd said he never travels alone, and everyone on his team, they know all his passwords to his phone, his computer, everything. They know all his passwords. And I was like, wow. I was honestly impressed. Like, I was just like, wow. Right now, I ain't about to do that right now. Actually, no, I'm lying. My other best friend, he sent me something called, it's this whole packet called If I Go Missing. And it's basically all of your essential information, and you send it to somebody. Oh, it stopped. Oh no, that's not good. Hold on. If y'all can hear me, let me know. If y'all can't hear me, let me know too. Hold on. Okay. I turned my mic off and turned it back on. What is that? I don't know what that is. I'm just pushing stuff now. If y'all can hear me, let me know. Oh gosh, I might have to get off and get back on. Okay. Cool. I'll keep going for now, but if the sound gets messed up, just let me know. But yeah, my best friend, he likes to listen to those true crime podcasts. So there's we have this packet called If I Go Missing, and it's basically like all your information, everything about you, down to your scars, your appearance. Your one section is like your passwords and everything like that, and you're supposed to you either type it up, like they send you 2 copies, so you print it out and you can like fill it out by hand and have the other person sign it, or it's like 9 pages, so I wasn't about to print that out. I typed it up and I still have to send it to him, but it's for if you go missing. But I have that with my best friend. I filled it out. I gotta see if he filled his out. But yeah. Back to that. So like when Michael Todd, he said he never travels alone. He always has what I believe he has bodyguards, and he travels with them. I believe it's the same for Tim Ross. Like, he never travels alone, or if he does, like he shared an example. One time he was traveling, and because he used to have a porn addiction. So, one time he was traveling, started getting urges. Instead of indulging in those urges, he called his wife. Because he's accountable to his wife, he called his wife, told her what was going on, and that was that. Like, him and his wife were so close and like locked in. How the epitome of true marriage, godly marriage. Love it. But yeah, that's how accountable they are, and that's how I think it's amazing, and it's a testament to how true and authentic they want to be, or they live their lives. And eventually I will get to that place. Not saying that I'm a bad person, it's just, it's been a process, because accountability, like being accountable to someone, takes trust and it takes vulnerability. And those are 2 things that I struggle with. Trust and vulnerability. Excuse me. It's hard. It's been hard for me to trust people. And it's been hard for me to trust them enough to be vulnerable with them, because people have taken those parts of me and abused them. People have abused my vulnerability. People have abused my trust. So for a while I was closed off. Very close. I was closed off to people. And it's funny, I have this head on that says antisocial, but yeah, that's how I was for a long time. And I'm still not a social butterfly. I don't think I'll ever be a social butterfly, especially compared to Mike, my husband. he is Mr. Social, and I am not. Like, I like people, don't get me wrong, I do love people. It's just sometimes people can be a bit much, and I'm just, I just kind of I would rather just. But yeah, accountability definitely takes trust and vulnerability. So how important it is to me, it's everything. So just having those core people that I am accountable to, and I'm gonna work on being even more accountable to them because I trust them. So I don't mind being like, hey, I'm having these thoughts, or I'm having these feelings. I'm gonna go pray about it, but I just want to let you know. And I'm if they can, I'm gonna come up with a plan of action as well and tell them what it is, so that I'm just like, okay, I'm feeling this way, I'm thinking this thing, I'm gonna go do this, because I don't want to fall. So yeah, accountability is everything. So that's all I have for today. Oh, I didn't do that. That's all I have for today. If you guys want to add anything, if you want to add any, if you have any questions or comments, anything you want to add, definitely feel free. Feel free to, put it in the comments. I'm just gonna ramble for a few more minutes. So, season 1 of Have a Little Talk is coming to an end, but we're coming back with season 2. We have great things in the works for a whole we're kind of revamping this season. We found out what worked, what didn't, and so for season 2 we have come up with a plan. We've come up with many different things, and we're putting our plan into action. We are very, very excited. I wasn't gonna do this, but why not? So in order for us to come back bigger and better for season 2, we just need a little help, just a little bit. We need equipment, we need software, things like that. So if you so choose, if you feel led, you can sew into the podcast. You could I didn't we're gonna set up like a whole account for Have a Little Talk, but for now, you could send it via Cash App, or sew into any of the three of us, me, Mike, or Tanasia, whenever you see us. However you want to sew. There's no specific amount that we're giving or that we're asking for or anything like that. Literally my hand is shaking because I was so nervous about asking about this, but I'm just going to put us out there. Yeah, we want to come back bigger and better for season 2, but in order to do that, we just need a little bit of help. That's all. If you feel led, if you so choose, you could sew into the podcast just to help us get new equipment and get software that will help us stream to more platforms, and make the podcast available on different platforms and in different forms. So we want to do visual, we want to do audio, we have many different things in the works. And if you have any questions about what we're doing, feel free to reach out. I have no problem explaining in further detail what we have in the works. But if you feel led to sew, if you so choose, you could send any amount to my personal Cash App, which is $MJoeHarry. I'm gonna add it in the comments if I can. Yeah. 1 second. MJoeHarry. That is my Cash App. If you feel so led, you can sew into the podcast. Any amount does not matter. Just make sure you specify that that's what it's for. That money will be set aside and used for the podcast and nothing else. Promise. I promise. It is not going to be used for anything personal. It will be used for the podcast. We have one more episode left in season 1. That'll be next week. Oh, yes, that's gonna be a good episode because it's also gonna be Mike's birthday. So we are gonna do it up for Mike. Yeah, we're gonna do it up. We're gonna celebrate Mike. That's his birthday, isn't it? Yes, I believe so. Yes, the next we'll be wrapping up season 1 on Mike's birthday, so we're gonna do it up for him. It's gonna be his birthday episode, and yeah. So I'm gonna go ahead and wrap up for the day. Thank you guys so very much for tuning in. We will be back. Oh wait, hold on. Just want to celebrate Flame for being on this podcast. Oh, I want to publicly thank you, Tanasia, for being a part of this. Trying to find a co-host was a struggle because when I first announced it and kind of like put it out there was an influx of people who were on board, but it didn't work out with any of them. And nothing against them, but it was all for different reasons. But it didn't work out with them. So I'm beyond grateful for you being on board. And yeah, I'm looking forward to season 2. Season 2 is very connect what is going on. Okay. But yeah, I'm excited. Season 2 is coming. Season 1 is coming to an end. Join us next week for Mike's birthday episode. Not sure what we're gonna talk about yet. We might just talk about Mike the whole time. I don't know. But join us next week, same time, same place. And yeah, thank you guys for tuning in, and see you next week.